7th, 2024 meeting of Mayor and Council. I'd like to call on Councilwoman Sandra Tooley to lead us in prayer, and if you'd remain standing for the pledge. Thank you.
Can we all bow our heads, please? Almighty Father, which art in heaven, Father, thank you for allowing us to be here today in this wonderful day that you have provided for us. Father, we ask that you give us the strength, the knowledge, and the ability to go forth and do the will that you would have us do, to do the work of the city and do it in an honorable way. We ask that each and every one continue to pray for all that is needed, pray for our city, pray for our world, pray for so much because so many are dying. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Forget his name.
So listen, real quick, special recognition again to our city workers. Unbelievable job. Unbelievable job in preparation for the rains and storm. Unbelievable job in cleanup and response to it as well. Thank you guys. It's not easy. It's all hours, and it's got to be wearing on you. I know emotionally it's wearing on everybody in this city right now to say, here comes another round. So thank you again very much. Now get back to planting Bluesberry. All right, item 2, the minutes approval for the March 21st regular meeting. Council, are there any additions or deletions? Seeing none, the minutes are approved by acclamation. We'll move on to our first public hearing item. 3A, consideration of an ordinance for a conditional use permit for a personal service shop in a residential professional zoning district. Jeff, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
Jeff Brammer's going to present.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. Scott Shaley is requesting a conditional use approval for a personal service shop in RP zoning. By personal service shop, in this case, we mean professional medical services akin to skin treatments and Botox, weight loss counseling, facials, stuff like that. As I mentioned on Tuesday, the applicant does have an existing location at Summit Point, the complex next to the Friends Restaurant. That's Zone CH, and in CH, personal service shops are allowed by right. However, they're relocating to North Oak Street, the property across from Valdosta Middle School. This property is zoned RP, and because of that, it requires a conditional use approval. So you see here on the slides, the location is outlined. It's an RP office park. There's office professional to the north, residential to the south. The character area, neighborhood activity center, allows a mixture of uses. Professional medical services is certainly a logical use there. The aerial shows lots of office buildings, plenty of parking. North Oak Street there to the right. The site plan, the building is behind Hogan's Pharmacy. It's the right building here on the left. It has 8 clinician rooms for different services. I mentioned them earlier. They're described in the letter of intent. The adjacent properties, they're all similar office buildings. There's plenty of parking in the area. That shouldn't be an issue, and what they're requesting will go with the other professional services that are in there: pharmaceuticals, insurance, maybe law, other professional uses like that. The Planning Commission reviewed the case on March 25th. They recommended unanimous approval, subject to 2 conditions. Be happy to read them. The first one is approval should be granted for a personal services shop in RP in the name of the applicant or No Filter Club only as a multi-tenant office that provides medical-related hair care, skin care services, which may include medical clinicians, estheticians, wellness counseling, or similar related services as described in the letter of intent. It's important, no tattoo parlors, no sauna, no spa services. The second condition, conditional use shall expire after 2 years from the date of approval if no business licenses for any of the approved uses have been requested by that date. With that, that concludes my opening. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council? Jeff, thank you. This is a public hearing item, so if there's anybody that would like to speak in favor of this request, please come forward. Please state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Scott Shalick, address 5650 Griffin Drive, Ohio, Georgia. We had bought this property back in August, or maybe it was July, I don't recall, it's all running together anymore, and started a remodel with the purpose of owning a property. Currently we rent at the property next to Friends. We would like to have something that had a little more value to it that we own. So we did a complete remodel on the property, and then we went to get the business license. This is when the zoning issue came up. But as the gentleman mentioned, it is very much in line with the pharmacy right there. There's speech therapy next door. There's a spa a couple doors down for massages. And we'd like to use this property for the business if possible. That's all I have for that.
Council, any questions for
I have a
Scott?
question for you.
Yes, sir.
One of our conditions is stated that you would not be using this for spa or sauna. Is that something you think you may want to do in the future before we vote on this?
No, my wife is a certified esthetician, so it would be aesthetics.
Okay.
So,
Council, any other questions? Scott, thank you.
thank you.
Again, is there anybody else that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in opposition to this request? Again, seeing none, council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented, including the two conditions.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Scott, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Move on to 3B. Consideration of an ordinance to rezone a total of 1.64 acres from residential, professional, and single-family residential to all highway commercial, and I have to look up to see who's presenting. Jeff Emmer again.
Thomas Rowell is requesting rezoning 1.64 acres from residential to commercial highway. This property is located at the intersection of Inner Perimeter Road and East Park Avenue behind the existing convenience store. I'll note there are no immediate plans for development. This is strictly to better market the property. Also note that the property is located in the Inner Perimeter corridor overlay. In the slides, we have two maps. The first one here shows the entire parcel. It's a mixture of zoning. We have commercial at the front, residential to the rear. This property is kind of a holdover. It was annexed in 1989 as part of the Brayland. This zoning is left over in place. The second map shows the same parcel, but the portion that we are talking about to be rezoned. This is the RP and the R10 in the back. Character area, it's Community Activity Center. These allow pretty intense commercial uses. The area is dense forest at the moment. It won't stay that way. This is a valuable commercial node for the city going forward. The intersection of two busy roadways. The photos from the ground, again, it's dense forest. There's lots of traffic, lots of potential, and you have the convenience store as well. The Planning Commission reviewed this at its March 25th meeting, unanimously recommended approval. They see it the way that staff does, that this is kind of a long overdue opportunity to correct and rectify some outdated zoning. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jeff? Jeff, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing item. Is there anybody that wants to speak in favor of this request? Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
I'm Tommy Rowell, owner of the property, and, it's great to see Valdosta growing by leaps and bounds. And within a perimeter being one of the focuses of the growth here in Valdosta, we're just trying to clean up the zoning on this property to get the entire tract set for commercial, and we think this is a very important commercial intersection that can provide good services and retail shops for the residents of Valdosta. So I certainly would appreciate your support in the change of zoning. Thank you.
Council, any questions for Mr. Bell? We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody who would like to come forward and speak in opposition? Again, seeing none, council, it's yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request as stated.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Council, all in favor, show of hands. Good luck, Mr. Rowe. Thank you. Move on to item C, consideration, of an ordinance to rezone 6.34 acres from conditional single-family residential to multifamily residential. Again, Jeff Brammer.
The last one for tonight. Park Hawthorne LLC is requesting rezoning 6.34 acres from R6 conditional to conventional RM multifamily zoning. Again, the property is located on the east side of North Forest Street Extension between Knights Academy Road and Branch Point Drive. This property has already twice before been approved as a planned development. The most recent time was last April 2023. The plans have changed, the parties involved have changed. It's been tweaked again and it's coming back. The new proposal basically is increasing the density a little bit, 42 to 48 units. There's no clubhouse now, but they're not. It's important to note that they're not looking to max out the property. With this size, they could do in excess of 100 units. They're doing less than half that. Again, I have the slides here outlined between county land to the west and city to the east. It's important to know that the RA there in the triangle likely will become dense commercial in the future. Multifamily in the outlined area here, therefore, would offer an appropriate transition from commercial to single-family residential, which is already located to the east in the city and probably will be expanding in the future as well. Character area, suburban area. In the city, the rural, residential, and the community activity center are in the county. The aerial shows, undeveloped land. It's a big area, lots of potential. The ground photos basically shows the same thing. Undeveloped land near some major roadways. In your packets, you have both the previous and the new site plans. Of course, it's important you're not approving a site plan per se, you're approving the rezoning. However, the big difference really between the site plans is there's a little more density, fewer amenities. It's 8 buildings, they're 2 stories apiece, 2-car garages, townhouse-style architecture, but really conventional multifamily development. This was reviewed by the Planning Commission at its March 25th meeting. They recommended approval 7-2. As I mentioned on Tuesday, the no votes really were more questions over parking and access. However, like I said, it's important to note that you're not approving an exact site plan. That was the case with the 2 planned developments that were done before. That's not the case with this. Any plan that will come back will have to get the appropriate design okays from engineering, from the fire department. So all of that stuff will be reviewed and approved. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jeff?
I have one. I just want to ask a question about that area off of Forest Street Extension being city or county area. Where is the county area?
The county, here in the triangle, you see where it says Community Activity Center? And then you see rural residential on the other side of Bemis.
Okay, that's what I was looking at because of the easement of that. The city part is on going north. The city part will be on the east side. Am I understanding that right? And the county is on the west.
The west side, that's correct.
You can say annexation if you want.
No, because I just know that was a question, and we had some things about that, and they were talking about getting the easement of it, and we had to talk with the county one time to get easement, especially they were talking about renaming the street. They wouldn't let us because we had to have easement on both sides from the county. So I'm thinking Nothing much. But anyway, that's what I was just thinking, that right side is the city. I mean,
That's correct.
okay. That's what I want to know. Thank you.
One quick thing, if I may, Mayor. Seeing as how this is probably Jeff's final council meeting, that he would have an opportunity to present to us, I just want to say thank you. Been a wonderful planner, historic preservation planner, and I know that you've done a lot for the city and our department, and I appreciate your work.
Thank you very much,
brilliant.
Mr. Councilman. I'll just quickly note, I want to thank all of you. Most, I want to thank Matt. He's been a great mentor, and I've learned a lot, and I will always appreciate that. And he'll be a great resource going forward, but I appreciate all of you. I've enjoyed my time here, and thank you very much. It means a lot.
Welcome. That's a billable hour if you call it, by the way. Just like the attorney.
Any other questions?
No, Jeff, thank you. Again, this is a public hearing item. Is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? How do you follow that? Tall order.
Also, it wasn't fair, Mr. Carroll, Councilman Carroll, to maybe get sad about Jeff leaving. I didn't actually know he was leaving. So, again, Matthew Inman, 4560 Mount North Drive, Sweetie. This is my third time before you guys, and we certainly hope this is third time's a charm on this one. As Jeff mentioned, did a great job of presenting. The developer changed for the overall development. The first one, we had a different layout, and the developer from Atlanta came in and gave us a much better concept of layout, how we're going to lay the lots out with those courtyards and all the different layouts. When they backed out of the deal, they backed out primarily because the property was going to cost too much to develop per unit because of the clubhouse and the pool area. There's just too small a number of units to put in those amenities on this type of development. So what we do is when we struck the clubhouse and pool area, you had 7 units, you had 4 driveways. Well, it wouldn't make sense to do 4 driveways and one of them only have 1 unit on one side and not another one, so we had the other unit back. So now it's 8 instead of 7 just to make a better use of the property. Real concerns at the planning commission meeting was the number of parking stalls. Our code requires 2 parking spots per individual space. When we require to have 96 spaces on the property, we have 165. We're 70 or 69 spaces over what's required. There's 2 in each driveway and 1 in the building. We're required to have 2 in each one, and we have another additional 17 spaces or so on the end of the property at the top right area, the mail kiosk and all that. So we think we got plenty of spaces for what the property has. One thing that Jeff did mention, this is planned to be a regional kind of lift station. The fire station that we're about the church, and we're doing the fire station just below that rehab. We're going to combine this property and that one, hopefully to serve the needs. We're going to run a lift station quite a ways back down the Inner Road to pump that sewer for this property. So this is one of those kind of good private-public ventures we get to kind of help each other out. We're going to all share the cost of that. So y'all have to pay for the full lift station, the developer would have to. So also I think the question about where the county line is, 4th Street's a county road. The road in front is a county road, so the property line really is where the city starts or ends right there. So 4th Street is in the county. Everything west of that will be county, but our property line really is the end of the city at this time in that area.
She didn't say it.
I'm not looking, I was just looking at that, and I was just looking at it. That's fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for the applicant? No, best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Still a public hearing item. Is there anybody else who would like to come forward and speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anybody that would like to come up and speak in opposition to this request? No Strawberry fans? Come on up. Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Congratulations, best of luck. We'll close out the public hearing and move on to item 4, ordinances and resolutions. Item A, consideration of a resolution authorizing myself to execute an updated contract agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the adjustment and installation of water and sewer facilities for the 5 Points roundabouts. Ben O'Dowd, city engineer, to present.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yeah, this is again, this is just in summary, the authorization to allow the mayor to sign the updated contract item agreement. This is for relocation and adjustments of utilities in conjunction with the GDOT project at the 5 Points roundabouts. We reworked the plans, saved some money, and I think we ended up with a better product. So I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ben? Ben, thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Let it begin.
Today.
That would be nice. All right, item 5, bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Item A, consideration of bids for the repair of a Caterpillar front loader for the Public Works Department. Larry Ogden, our Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Public Works Department would like to ask for permission to repair a 1984 Caterpillar front end loader. This piece of equipment is in need of a transmission. We went out and did research to purchase a new one, and it will run us $490,000. So we also asked for bids to repair just the transmission. So the repair for the transmission will be $67,868.27. We had one single source bid that came in on February 23rd, 2024 from Yancey Caterpillar. So I asked for permission to do the repairs on this piece of equipment. I'll take any questions.
Council, any questions for Larry?
Yes. This is the 1984.
Yes, ma'am.
I know. Yeah. I wasn't here and I'm gonna do it. Okay, because I just was wondering about what kind of warranty with that when that's gonna connect?
The warranty will come with a 3-year warranty or 5,000 hours.
3-year warranty?
Yes, ma'am. Or 5,000 hours, whichever comes first.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Council, any further questions? Larry, thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request presented by Mr. Ogden.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Larry, thank you. Item B, consideration of bids for a new valve exercising machine for the Utilities Department. Jason Barnes, our Assistant Utilities Director, to present.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This is the Utilities Department to purchase a new valve exercising machine due to the age and the serviceability of the existing exercise machine. It's used to exercise the valves because sometimes we know that valves get stuck. It's hard for us to get a key to actually hand open them. This will actually back up to the valve. You can basically spin it one direction and kind of just move it to try to free it up. It also is used to clean out the valve boxes to get access to the valves. So this purchase is the council approved budget for this current fiscal year. We have 3 sealed bids that were received on March 21st of this year. Technology International with $100,490. EH Rocks, $84,725. And Industrial Systems at $79,360. The staff recommends approving the low bid of the Industrial Systems in the amount of $79,360 and allow the Utilities Department to proceed with purchase. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jason? Please.
I would like to have some photos of what we're talking about, because when you're paying for something, it's a lot easier when you can see what you're paying for.
Yes, sir. I'll take care.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Jason, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Council, yours again for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request presented by Mr. Ben. Did I say it right?
Jason.
That was
Mr. Jason, I'm sorry.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Move on to item C, consideration of bids for 3 traffic control cabinets for the engineering department. Ben O'Dowd returns to present.
All right, so this year we as you're aware, every year we use lost funds to replace necessary traffic management equipment. Part of that is the purchase of new traffic control cabinets to replace ones that are damaged by uninsured motorists, lightning strikes, storm damage, things of the like. This year we budgeted $48,900 for the purchase of 3 traffic cabinets at a unit cost of $16,300, which was based on last year's bids that we received. When we put it out to bid, we put it out to bid for 4 at a unit cost bid. You can see those units on sheet 5CA. So we ended up getting competitive bids from Temple at $13,400, which if we bought 4 would be over budget, so we opted to just buy 3, and that's what we're bringing before you today. And so we're requesting acquisition of 3 traffic control cabinets for a cost of $40,200. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Ben?
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
On those traffic control cabinets, because we have asked that before when we bought them, I think we bought about a couple of years ago. We bought, about 3 or 4?
We generally buy and lose 3 to 4 per year.
We buy and lose.
Yeah, they're destroyed due to a variety of circumstances.
Let's charge somebody for that. Okay, now I was just wondering if we kind of like have a certain amount we buy in each year or something like that, but okay, you said we more or less
Yes,
just
sir.
replace and...
More or less, it's 3 or 4 per year, and when we lose more than that, then we generally have to scramble and find funds to replace them, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Ben? Ben,
So we're using Temple, right? We're using Temple, right?
Yes, ma'am. So Temple is the only person that responded to the invitation for bid.
Good. Ben, thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the bid as stated.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben, thank you. Item D, consideration of bids for a new fiber optic splicing trailer for the engineering department. Ben O'Dowd is asking for all our money tonight.
I'll just slow up here. All right, so for this one, as you can see at the top, we have budgeted for this year $9,275 for a new fiber splicing trailer. Unfortunately, when we were developing the specifications for that trailer, the specifications initially only entailed the purchase of a standard enclosed trailer. So generally speaking, you'd see this for a landscaping company. It's basically just an enclosed trailer with a drop gate on the back. If you're familiar with our existing fiber splicing van that we use, it has air conditioning, which helps us to get cleaner fuses on the fiber line. It also is good to have a climate-controlled space so that we can avoid having dust. Any kind of dirt or dust or any kind of foreign substance can damage and weaken the integrity of the fiber splices that we make. We also have a generator on the back of that van, and so we had to kind of go back to the drawing board, redevelop the specifications, and put out the updated specifications for that fiber splicing trailer to meet our minimum requirements. So we did that, and we put it out to bid, and the low bid came back from Intech Trailers at an amount of $36,975.20, and that is what I'm standing before you asking for. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Ben on the trailer? Thomas?
I just have a comment. It's good to see that we're doing this type of work in-house, because the outsourced fiber, of course, you know, is very expensive.
Yes, sir.
And I trust that we're continuing to pay attention to an opportunity to do anything else in-house.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Thank you.
You answered my question, Sir Teasley, because I thought it was inside the truck, but it's a trailer. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You answered mine. Thank you.
Good. No further questions, Ben? Thank you. Council, yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request. I'm not going to say no name. Presented.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Move on to item E, consideration of a professional design service contract agreement for the construction of the new fire station number 8, Ben O'Dowd. Present.
I'm not sure why I keep sitting down, but here I am again.
Just stated.
This is the presentation for the professional design services for the new Fire Station 8 building renovations. So just to be clear, this is for professional design services. The end product for this contract will be a set of construction documents that we can put out to bid and have somebody come in, make the necessary renovations to the existing facility so that it can function as a public safety facility. It currently is a church, and we need to bring it into a public safety facility. So we issued a RFP for professional design services. We went through a quality-based selection process for this. So if you can see here, I included the scoring sheet. We had a scoring committee, and we developed a scoring chart based on the review of the two proposals that we received. As you can see here, ERA's proposal had the highest score, and so they were selected based on quality of services, which is important for professional design services. You want to select based on quality, but I will say that fortunately, we had the confluence of quality and economy with the selection because ERA had the lower price proposal. We applied a 25% contingency to their proposal amount, and this is because the nature of their proposal is a percentage of construction proposal, and we wanted to account for any kind of additional costs that would be borne to this design professional based on the eventual bid price for the construction. These types of contracts are standard in professional design services. This is not uncommon to see percentage of construction contracts. They went in based on a presumed cost of work of $1.5 million, and that's what they based their percentage of construction contract on. One of the reasons why we felt comfortable selecting ERA is because at each of their design intervals, they established that they would provide us with concurrent cost estimates at each one of those design intervals. So at 30%, 60%, and 90%, we're getting pulse checks on how much this thing is estimated to cost, which helps us kind of rein in our design, make sure we're doing the bare minimum to stay on budget. So I'm here to answer any questions for you.
Any questions for Ben, council?
I think this is a good thing in getting that. I mean, it's moving along, and I am proud of the way y'all have moved and managed it. Because how long have we started with this? It's been, what, 2 years?
I'm not sure when the property was purchased, but we solicited bids shortly after the first of the year.
After the first, okay, so
Solicited proposals, apologies.
it's moving along, that's good.
Yes, ma'am.
Comment, what a question, thank you.
But we're not locked in to use.
22, it's been about, yeah, we're doing.
Very, very good.
Okay.
Any further questions for Ben?
I just want to, it just got answered. I just want to know that we're not locked in with ERA. If that they don't meet what we asking them to meet, we can always pull away and use someone else, correct?
So what I'm bringing before you is a design proposal. It is
Locked in with
It is a contract for services with ERA Design Professionals, which means that we are obligated to pay them, and they are obligated to provide the dictated service to us.
Okay.
Without that service, it goes back to this man.
Yes.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to go ask Attorney Turner, come on, help me out.
Yeah, they don't get paid if they don't provide the service that they are contractually obligated to.
And that first time, that amount was one with what, 11, 12? I think that's what I saw.
$1,012,500.
Okay.
Which is the percentage of the project.
That is so the percentage of construction, the proposal amount that they presented to us was $90,000, which was based on a 6% percentage of construction contract based on the presumed or target budget for the project. We applied a 25% contingency on top of that to account for inflationary costs, generalized project cost increases that we don't foresee now. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't have to come back before y'all with an updated proposal cost. I want to make sure that the next time I come before you, I've got a set of construction documents, I've got this thing put out to bid, and a general contractor selected for y'all to award the contract to build the thing.
Councilman, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, any other questions for Ben?
I was just going to say, and I heard you say it, because I was waiting on this great man to say something, but when you said, see, this presentation, you still had to come back and get a contractor to come to discuss this project with you. Did I hear that correct?
Yes, ma'am. So as part of this proposal, we'll notify this design professional to proceed with design. We'll do survey, site civil design, building modification plans. They'll put all that together. They'll hand it to us. And then my staff and I will put it out for bid. And then once we receive competitive bids from general contractors within the area, then I will take the lowest responsible bid before y'all again at a council meeting to offer y'all the chance to award that contract to that lowest bidder.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Ben, thank you, but don't move. Stay put. Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the presentation as presented.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben, local funding request to approve the declaration of takings for final property acquisitions for the Dogwood Circle pedestrian drainage improvement project.
Okay, so as you all are familiar, this has been a project that's been in process for many years. It predates my time here, so forgive me if I misunderstand the history behind it, but the intent is to pipe the existing difficult to maintain steep ditches within the Dogwood Circle project area. Sorry, that got me. We have a very narrow right-of-way through this area, and so we had to obtain easements, both permanent and temporary, and then we had some right-of-way that we had to obtain. What you have before you is the request to approve the declaration of takings, which is the, I'm trying, well, I'm pushing through. It is the authorization to condemn these three properties. Tim Tanner can kind of provide some input on this, but these three properties are, we've done everything that we can over the past 2 to 3 years to conventionally obtain these three portions of parcels. And so these are, this is kind of a last resort that we're coming to. My staff has tried to obtain these parcels. City attorney's staff has tried to obtain these parcels. We originally started with 4. I believe we were able to make contact with one of those, and these are the remaining 3 that we need before we can do the project. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Ben or Attorney Tanner?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I know Ralph Hall. I think Ralph Hall is deceased, am I correct?
Yes. And that presents some of the problems when you get into these situations. And he's not the only estate involved, and that's why we have to do this.
His wife is still alive.
Yeah, yeah. And what we will do, this is the first step in the condemnation proceeding. So we have, which is in the packet, we have an appraisal, and we'll submit the $700 to the registry of the court and put them on notice, and then they can contest the amount, or they can go up and just get it. So, but it'll clear the title for us.
So that's what's holding us back at this point from not...
Those three. But I think there was total 57 parcels in the entire project.
Yes.
4 we could not reach. 1 we reached, and like I said the other night, they were in a nursing home, I think in Osceola, if I recall, but we got that. And 2 of them, I believe, are in estates. 1 thinks the property is a little bit more valuable than we think the property is, and that's why we have to get an appraisal.
So can we get some assistance from I'm going to call Mr. Hanson, you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Hardy, can we get some assistance when the residents are calling in and saying they signed their part over, and it's for the city to clean their ditches because they have already signed, and that's what a lot of them say when they're upset about the grass growing. They say they signed their part over, and it's the city's responsibility now to keep that area clean.
And I'll look and see if it's the city property, the city will maintain it. If it is the city's property.
No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying they have signed what was presented to them for us to be able to do the job. And the ones that have not signed, the ones that have signed are furious the fact that we can't do anything.
Right, that's answering your question.
Okay.
If they've signed it over to the city, then we'll maintain it.
We'll do their part, but not the other one's part.
Yeah.
And if it helps at all, once we go through with this very quickly from this point. Once, if y'all choose to approve this, we can move forward with this project very, very quickly.
All right.
So pretty much this is the last step, and once, if y'all choose to approve this, then I can put this project out to bid, and we can award it to a contractor. Again, I'll take that back before y'all once I receive those low bids, and you'll have, again, an opportunity to authorize the construction of the process, but this is the last step before we can advertise that project for bid.
Any other questions for Ben? Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Can you clarify very, very quickly?
Clarify very, very quickly.
7 days, 7 days?
Oh, so, okay, gotcha.
I need to make a...
When I say very, very quickly, I mean, so conventional bid advertisement is generally 30 days. We typically advertise twice in the newspaper, a week apart. We have a mandatory pre-bid meeting 2 weeks prior to bid opening, and the project must be advertised on Georgia Procurement Registry for 30 days. And this is in order to keep us in compliance with both state law as well as our local purchasing manual. So it's very quickly in engineering and construction world is probably a month and a half away.
Close to 90 days.
That's about it.
Double it.
Now, construction is liable to start, again, this is 30 days to next available agenda to present to y'all. Y'all award it. I issue a notice to proceed to the contractor. They may or may not be ready to stop, drop everything, and start the project as soon as they get the notice to proceed. It may take them 2 weeks to get materials. It may take them 4 weeks to get materials. In this construction environment, there's a lead since y'all authorized the contract to Weems for the intersection of Guanto and Baytree, and we knew at the outset that we were going to have a 12-month lead time on the strain poles in order to construct that intersection. So we issued the notice to proceed, they placed the order, and then we wait for, 9 to 12 months. So it's a complicated, it's a complicated environment to build things in, but we're doing everything that we can.
But we don't have to use rooms for this if we don't want to, correct?
Oh, for this project? No, I was referencing a different project. Apologies. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ben? Ben, thank you this time.
Yep, thank you.
Council, it's yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve this request presented.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Item B, consideration of a request to authorize payment of an invoice for emergency generator repair at the Withlacoochee wastewater treatment plant. Jason Barnes returns. Jason, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, Mayor. This is a request to authorize payment for an invoice for the emergency generator at the Withlacoochee Water Pollution Control Plant. The generator was built in 2011, and it was initially placed at the Mud Creek wastewater facility. It was installed since 2016. It's been at the Withlacoochee plant. Back on January 8th of this year, SOG8 industrial diesel repair, we servicing the Withlacoochee generator. Just to give you a little bit of feedback from the work session on Tuesday, we yearly service every generator every year. So we have a company come in, they service all our generators. We actually, quarterly, we actually put a load on each generator, but every week we also just turn the generator on, let it run, get the diesel fuel going. So that's some of the things that we do as far as our process here at Utilities. But we discovered then that the diesel engine would not hold more than a 25% load back on January the 8th. That the injectors, fuel injectors, were on one side on the B12 engine had gone bad. So we contacted Yancey Caliper, they came in. The generator failed to start on January the 24th of this year during its normal weekly exercise. And as we know, without this generator, Withlacoochee plants, cannot function. We have storms or whatever, we can't produce wastewater getting back into treatment. So all 12 fuel injectors for the generator need replacing, as well as the fuel lines in the fuel rails. The scope of the work for this Yancey Caliper also included a backup generator while we were repairing this one, so it would keep us up in operation. the cost for the emergency generator rental was $30,844.28, and the cost for the parts and labor to repair the Willacoochee generator was $31,629.25, and the total cost was $62,513.53. The staff recommends to approve payment of $62,513.53 to Yancey Caterpillar for this emergency repair and also for the backup generator. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jason?
I want to ask a question because it's my understanding, you're saying that this generator is out there at the Willacoochee water plant that we built a brand new one off of Rellerton? And we used the old, we put a bunch, what you're saying, it was over at Mud Creek, and we pretty much put an old one over there with all the new one. Because I thought we had everything new at that plant.
No, the generator actually was built just in 2011. It was established initially at Mud Creek, and then in 2016, we actually moved that to the Willacoochee wastewater plant.
So our new plant that we built out there, we did not get a new generator?
We did not get a new generator.
Wow, I thought we did on that.
Backup generator.
Yeah, it's just a backup. We lose power.
This is
But
a
yes,
backup generator you said?
This is a backup. So if we lose main power of Georgia Power, then we can use this generator to be able to keep the whole plant functioning at 100%.
I thought we had bought all that with that new 80 million or whatever plant. Okay, I thought we just had it, but I'll thank you.
Council, any other questions? Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Jason, again, thank you. Final item C, consideration of a request for funding to cover the cost for removal of 10,000 cubic yards of storm debris from the city of Valdosta right-of-ways. Larry Ogden, unfortunately, to present again.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As the mayor stated at the beginning of the meeting, we have had a rash of storms to hit our area. Each department is very busy trying to recover from the storms that has hit the city of Valdosta. Currently, the last storm that hit us back in March, it caused damage in a localized area. We have roughly 10,000 cubic yards of debris that needs to be removed from our roadway. We have contacted the company that we used the last time, Ashford, who we're on the contract with, to come in and evaluate to see how much debris was in the roadway and in the yards. They came up with a measurement of 10,000 cubic yards. We wanted to go ahead and ask council for $90,000 to authorize the removal of the debris that's currently beside the road and in the yards. We're also asking for a 10% contingency fee of $9,000 to help in case we run over with the cost or there's more debris out there than previously estimated. I'm asking that we reallocate funds from our ARPA funds of $1.5 million that's currently designated for the property on South Patterson to be used to cover the cost of the debris removal. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Larry?
Yes, I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you contract any other companies to see or do a comparison other than that one who we paid all that money to and did not? Well, looking at the contract, I did not see it for all the fulfillment that they were going to be doing and everything, like we used a lot of our money, paid them before. Did we as a city look at any other company who could do the same thing?
From my understanding, no, ma'am, we didn't because we have a current contract with Ashbridge to remove the debris.
We have a contract with them, but we got to increase, we got to, what is this, a codicil or additional amendment or something?
This is something different. This is just from the storm.
So we had a contract with them for any storms, any debris we need moving?
Ma'am, when we had the last storm back in August, we went out and we requested bids. Ashford came in with the lowest bid. So what we did was we continued the contract out for 2 years. So if we have any issues, any storms coming in the future, that they would be able to handle those incidents. So that's where we're at with them. So they're still on the contract based off of the last bid process.
So any other storm coming up for the next year, because it's there for 2 years, we would have to use them. We cannot go out and look at somebody else.
Well, we can go out.
but we are on the contract.
For this storm right here, we, based off of the price, based off of getting this material out off the roads, we went back because we feel strongly that that price is still good for the situation.
So basically what you're saying is that if we had to put it out for bid, would it be like a 30-day delay, right?
Yes.
And due to time and making sure our roads are clear, we decided to go with the company that we have in contract with right now.
Absolutely.
And they are, like before, I know we had a contract with them saying they were going to have a time frame. Did they complete their time frame and follow it as stated?
They came well in advance of the time that we gave. They definitely met their time requirement of getting material off the ground. They actually responded gracefully by remaining because we went back through the city several times, making sure individuals put material out, so.
The reason I asked that was too because I know one time you came back and said there was something else we was going to have to do. We thought we would do all the cleanup and everything. You said you had to find a place to move some of the, I guess, the chalk, the gravel or whatever they had chalk grind up. And we had to find a place to take that.
The mulch.
Yes, that's what I was.
That was part of that was a separate contract of the removal of it, and then there was 3 locations that we had to.
That was a separate contract, because I know he said they were going to do it all. I was talking to our city manager. I was talking with our city manager, and I think he said they are going to get it all, they're going to clean it up, they're going to take it, they're going to remove it all. So that was a different contract. We had to get somebody else to do it.
The problem came in, the locations had to get approved by EPD to be authorized to ground that material, to store and grind that material up at those locations.
And we then changed the contract with them having to remove it, that we had to do.
There was no contract with them, that was the contract with wherever they were going to do the final disposal.
So there was no contract for the final disposal. So
The location, absolutely.
are we covering all of that this time?
Everything is covered.
I hear that everything word again. Okay. But I'm just saying, okay, I was just wondering because I sometimes think the cost of what they're charging, and I mean, I just saw one of our trucks pick up that boat, and if they can move and pick up and grind that big old boat, it picked it up. Oh, yes, we did.
I'm just saying, I'm not familiar with them picking up.
I think you was out there, no, I'm just saying something that heavy, we could do it, we have the equipment, but that's another thing.
I can assure you, we can do a presentation anytime you would like to see it, that what it can pick up and what it can't pick up.
I saw, we got the picture of that boat.
Mr. Larry, you said we could take funds from, you said we had some funds from another project we're going to use for this project, correct?
Yeah.
So we're really not spending any, we're not spending any money, we're just moving one fund to another fund and not to complete a project, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Okay. I thought
Any other questions for Larry? Larry, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, once again, yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, show of hands. All in opposition, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council.
starts, so when the school zone starts at 7:15 in the morning, they run from 7:15 to 8:15 when the lights are flashing. And then that's when everybody's gotta go 25 miles an hour. Then when the lights turn off, it runs through the school day until school lets out in the evening when the school zone picks back up again. But then when the school zone ends, they are shut off completely. Red Speed checks them, then they send them to us, and then we have to check them and ensure that the times match up, that's that vehicle. And we ensure that everything's shut off by when the school zone ends.
So this citizen needed really come and speak to you concerning that she's saying her child got a ticket. concerning
If
that
she's
8
got
o'clock
it,
at
she
night.
can bring it and show it to us, because when we're approving them, we're not approving anything that comes in after the 3:15.
Because I tried to explain to this parent,
Yes, ma'am.
she just kept saying no, and I kept saying, ma'am, they don't do that 8 o'clock at night.
It won't print out anything after 3:15, if so, that would have to be some kind of fault with Red Speed, but we would not approve it on the police department's
Thank
action.
you, thank you,
And
Chief.
then, can I clear something up too? You can get a ticket anytime in this town, on any road.
No, she was saying that she got it in the mail, so that would be.
That would be the question, but even after that thing shuts down, our officers can run radar and it can road. But you're
Oh, okay,
right, you're
correct,
right, and it's from that company.
Okay, okay.
From that company, it would be after 3:15.
So do we have some radars connected somewhere close?
Our school zone doesn't get out to 4:15, some of them.
Correct, but the ones that have the red speed on them are done at 3:15. But all the elementary schools.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Like Gordon Street.
Gordon Street, Barack Obama, as well as Lake Park.
That's right.
Those all end at 3:15. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But then, yes, we would not send them in the mail if our officers
that's what I was trying to explain.
the issue on my.
Right, and so the city wouldn't send you nothing in the mail.
No, ma'am.
They would have given you a ticket.
Yes, ma'am, right there on the side of the road.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Chief, can we have the last 30-day ticket count for each Red Speed location?
I can get it to you, I work half day tomorrow, I can try to get it in the morning.
No rush.
But we're still doing, Barack is still doing warnings until, I think there's still a couple more weeks on that, and then, down in front of Pinedale, they're still doing warnings for the next week.
Are we seeing a decrease there on Gordon? I mean, I know it's been there longest.
That's the first one.
Not really, but we're still getting about the same amount.
It was about 500.
It was initially 472 or something.
Yeah, it was about 500.
What's that?
Wasn't it about 500, that initial number that came in during the, I think that was a test warrant.
I give it in the monthly report, but right now, I just can't think right offhand what that was.
Councilman Hurd?
Chief, I just want to commend you and your staff. Last night I got a alarming call from one of my employees. Her house had got shot up on, man, it was crazy. I went over there, but your officers were out there, I mean, in the pouring rain, trying to get evidence, and even though they were responding and going around the neighborhoods trying to get some stuff, but appreciate y'all, for doing that, and definitely, it's a shame, that these things are happening in our community, and so we gonna try to keep supporting you and try to get this stuff cleared out, man, from within these areas, man. It's just bad. So, but I commend you and your staff for.
Thank you, I'll let them know. Thank you.
One more question, Chief. We have some of the teenagers that's fighting and we're turning them back over to the parents. Are we asking the parents to punish these kids, or what are we doing?
We would love that. Unfortunately, we have to let go of them. And then we have to behind closed doors.
Because I got a joke, it was in front of my house, it was in the park, and they didn't see me, and I went out and you better stop it, you better do it, and then they went down the street, I didn't stop, because they laughed at me, and they went down the street and said, you better stop that, but I was just asking, are we talking to the parents to say,
Shut up.
oh, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone, thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief, thank you. Council, any other council comment?
I had one.
Please hear it.
as everyone can see, cities are expensive to run. A lot of this equipment that we purchased today came from SPOS funds. So this is how we pay for the majority of our equipment. So we want to make sure we encourage our people to continue to support SPLOS, eSPLOS, T-SPLOS, anyone that we get to come around, because if not, we're going to have to go without stuff being done, or the alternative is raising property taxes, because this stuff we have to have. So just be mindful when we say things or we share things on social media about our SPLOS, because our city runs off of it. So just help us spread the word on trying to keep our city running properly.
Thank you for saying that. In TIA 2, please look at the list before you vote in May. We have a $41 million Exit 18 expansion project in that TIA 2. That can never get done without that T-SPLOS. It can never happen. We got $25 million to expand Park Avenue from Barack Obama out to Perimeter Road, much needed with 4 schools on there and future development as well. So please, again, those are projects that we cannot do on our own in any way, shape, and form, and that is what T-SPLOS buys us, plus a lot more. I'm sorry, Councilman. Go ahead. Oh, Councilman McIntyre.
I'd just like to get on the record a request for speed bumps, high tower at the Hallmark Heights School. Calls are coming into more than one council because of that. And I'm sure I have mayor, council, and management's support on that area. Very important to do something about that school. Even if it's not speed bumps, we need to do something about that short area there. Yeah, I saw a streak from a car. I was wrong in my estimate. I went back and it's about 70 feet long, where somebody peeled out in front of the school, just on the other side of the speed bumps that are there.
And the four-wheelers can do loops too.
And yeah, and they do loops, yeah. And so, I know we're waiting for the committee, but we need to make this happen as fast as possible.
Councilman, thank you.
Three things. One is I'd like to invite everybody out to the Miracle League games that are on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8. We got 3 weeks left. We actually have the football team that's going to join us, all 100 of them or 115 of them, however many they are, on Tuesday to help be fans and buddies and so forth. So it's going to probably be a very active night, I guess you could say. The other thing is big thanks to Chief Manahan and her crew as well. My phone was blowing up last night with some situations and stuff, and I texted her about 9:30 at night, and I was like, what is going on? You know, and she responded, and anyhow, everything's been taken care of, so now we got happy citizens in Oldwood Valley. And then next thing is, I know COVID kind of hurt us with this one, but I would like to bring back the Food Truck Thursdays again. It was a big, huge success when it initially started for like 2 or 3 years, and a lot of folks, and I say that because I went to take my truck to get fixed today at Ben's Tire and Auto, and I had 2 different individuals that come in and said, aren't you on council? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, when are y'all bringing back those food trucks? You know, we're missing those food trucks downtown. And I was like, you know what? I said, maybe we do need to revisit that. So anyhow, I'd like to see those come back if possible. I see people shaking their heads, so I don't know if that means it is coming back or...
We're discussing it.
So we are bringing it back.
No.
We'll take that as confirmation.
Okay, so we'll change it to Tuesdays if needed. But that's it.
I just want to say, I know earlier at the beginning of the council meeting, you did comment on our staff and what a wonderful job they've done and they have, and I want to say that too. I was at an event this past weekend when I was out of town, and someone mentioned to me about, I guess they see on social media what Valdosta's doing, and I did hear Councilman Howard say about we got to be careful about it. Well, these people commented us on our relationship or how all we're doing on social media. They thought Valdosta was doing real good. We possibly like some of the ideas, and they think we're doing good. So I say to the unsung hero, whoever, Is it our PR person, Shara, and your staff, which y'all putting out there? You're doing a wonderful job, and it's getting out. People are seeing it, because I was in Mississippi, and even though it was people from all around, all over, one of the ladies said, I've seen Valdosta on social media, and, she started talking about some of the things they've done and the pictures and so forth, and, I just wanted to know it was very positive. So you're doing a good job, you're putting out some good stuff about Valdosta, and a lot of people think we're okay. I do too, I'm just saying, we're doing all right.
Councilwoman, weren't you a speaker at that gathering?
That wasn't the one, but I was a speaker. Yes, sir. But we've got notice in different places.
Mr. Mayor, I have one more thing. Oh, go ahead, Jim. Well, I just wanted to real quick, only because he's new and I haven't seen him, but I wanted to thank Officer Johnson back here for providing security for us tonight. This is the first time I've seen him here. We appreciate you.
From what I understand, thank you for service to God and country and the Air Force.
Well, I did hear that he served with, a little bit with the Chief here. Another thing.
And one more thing, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank all who wear T-shirts. Put to their career starting with Friday, next Friday. Next Friday. Thank you.
Make sure we get a big mix out, please.
You heard it, you said, get a big mix out. We thank you.
Council, any other comment?
One more thing real quick, I can't help but keep thinking about this when I see the phones. When are we gonna pull the trigger on the remodeling of council's chambers? We got that approved about a year ago, maybe?
I take just sight and sound.
Probably more like 16 years ago.
I believe we did get a bid in for sound inside, if I'm not mistaken.
Bigger TVs, please?
Yeah. More projection. Mr. Mayor, without objection, I move that we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
All right.